from the owner of Jets in a second. Man, he's gonna be furious.
I'll
Well,
tell him,
not the owner of Jets, the corporate, but the owner of the.
I'll
four
tell him
Jets
he needs to be
locations.
sending us some Jets.
Well, I just saved us another 20 minutes of nothing because I just turned on the properties.
Woohoo! He's on there.
All right, so we're sponsored by Jets and everything like that. GracePointe
Yep.
Healthcare, 20% off. Let's get into it.
Producer Jack, give a hand for Producer Jack, everybody. Saving the show for the majority, but missing out at the beginning.
I
So,
apologize.
So last week you leave the mics hot when you're not supposed to.
I was not cued in. Spencer didn't even realize that to begin with. He was like, "Oh, how was I supposed to know?"
Hey,
it was the first virtual show we've had.
yeah, I mean, well, speaking of virtual, so please welcome back to the show. He's not in studio, but of course he will be with us on Friday and Saturday. Please welcome back Zachary Lone.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
It's good to be back.
And everything, yeah. How's quarantine for you?
Boring.
I mean,
I've basically been quarantining for 4 weeks, so
I mean, it's been pretty exciting for you, at least with the NFL games.
no, because the time's lost.
Facts.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks has been kind of rough, and today it was it's kind of rough. But hey, I'm sure they'll bounce back.
All I'm saying is the Braves and the Titans were undefeated while I was in the hospital in rehab, so
Ooh.
Well, the superstition.
Would you just go back to
begins.
to the hospital, Zach?
You're gonna have a death wish. You're gonna have fans just like come and like snap your arm. It's like, we need to win.
Go back, Zach.
Oh, that's
Go back.
The superstition begins. Send Zachary not even as a patient. Just send him back to be in the presence of the hospital when the Titans are playing, and then we go with that. Obviously, you can't do anything about the Braves now until baseball season is back. But next Sunday, just make sure you're just standing in the hospital in the waiting room. Sir, can I help you? No. I'm just waiting until the game's over.
People gonna go Undertaker on you.
Oh goodness! But yeah, Zachary will be back this weekend. But at least for this past weekend, it's time to recap the minimal action that we had in 8-man football, which unfortunately,
It's
not
a
lot.
weird week.
Yeah, it is weird. There's a lot of weird scenarios that were going on. So for the last time this season, follow along on your helmet schedules.
Why is my leg cramping?
Follow along on
I
your
said
helmet
follow
Because
schedules.
you didn't have
care about your
Jets.
leg.
I don't care what it. His leg is cramping because he doesn't have enough potassium in his system. You need to eat some more bananas.
I'm sure you eat a lot of bananas.
I probably should. I don't. I should eat some more, especially the
I eat
organic.
bananas.
Yeah, they're good. They're good fruits. They're good fruits. So, what was on originally with the helmet schedule? Originally, every team that we cover was active, but let's go through here. So, Christian Community canceled their game against Franklin Christian. Sacred Heart canceled their game against the Freedom Cowboys. Let's see what else we got here. I believe South Haven canceled their game against Franklin Classical, and the only games active: Riverside and Providence, Ezel Harding and Lancaster. The Memphis Nighthawks also canceled on the Tennessee Heat. They tried to set up some other games around, but just didn't work out the way they wanted to.
Nobody wanted to play the Heat. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want the fire from the flame, but what do I know?
They didn't want the smoke.
They didn't want to be smoked out of the stadium. That's true. But hey, I mean, think about it this way.
Didn't
James.
want to be smoked out of what?
Because you said they didn't want to handle the smoke.
No,
Flame would've smoked.
it's what the kids say now. I want the smoke.
I don't
Should
say.
I play the outro music for that?
Just that'll wrap up the show.
And on that
everybody.
note.
And on that note, the show is over. We throw it on a dime. So week 11, only 3 games occurred across the teams that we cover. Unfortunately, the other one's being canceled. We'll start with the one that we were not at, and we only got reported the final score. I'm sure James and his statistician brain maybe looked at some stats in that game or looked at some film. But
Thanks for the hint.
senior night for Providence Christian. Still looking for their first win in program history. I'm sure it'll come next year. Ferguson and company will get their guys trained up. 28-22, Riverside. To be honest, we thought they were kind of clocked in after that tough loss to Ezel Harding and the tough loss to South Haven. Creasy and company, they're still fighting, and they managed to get the win on the road even in circumstances where they thought they were going to have a home game, they turned around, went up to Murfreesboro, and got the job done, 28-22. And for Riverside and Company, they've got the Division II championship against Franklin Classical to play later in these next few weeks. And the latest update we have for the Division II championship, at least per the schools that we have talked to, is that they are leaning towards having the Division II championship when it was originally scheduled, which is at 2 p.m. before the Division I championship on November 21st. However, they are finalizing it this weekend. I'm still waiting on an official statement from one of the sources I have with directly with the schools, and there's no official update on that. I think they're trying to work out some basketball situations. So Riverside and Classical have one more game, even though Classical had to cancel their game against South Haven. But that's besides the point. Riverside, they got the win by 4 points. Providence and Company, it's tough, James.
I also didn't realize they snapped a 3-game losing streak. They lost to FCA, Ezel, and South Haven all in a row. Yeah, I mean, they definitely had to dig deep on this one. Providence, there was no score at the end of the first, 8-8 at halftime. Riverside came up with the 14 points in the third quarter. Providence had 6. And then Providence got the touchdown to tie it up at 22. Riverside had to go on a game-winning drive and make it happen, and didn't get the 2-point conversion, and then Providence's attempt fell short. So Providence also has not entered any stats for this game, but for the Riverside view of things, of course, Raymond Hunt, 13 carries, 144 yards. Crutcher Ezel did not play per these stats. I would need to confirm that, but he does not. Like I say, he does not have stats on here. But Jay Krubelski, the junior quarterback for Riverside, just had a great night in terms of running the ball, passing. He was okay. Like I said, Raymond Hunt, 13 carries, 144 yards, and a touchdown. Rubelski, 20 carries, 114 yards, 3 touchdowns. Michael Whidden, 4 catches, 56 yards. And let's see who led him in tackles. Michael Whidden had 18 total tackles, 15 solo, and a sack for Raymond Hunt. No interceptions. So just one of those nitty-gritty, dirty team efforts. But they dig deep and they got it done, and they pulled out of there with the win. It was a good one. It brings them up to 3-4. So, something they needed.
Definitely something they needed. And Zachary, we saw both these teams in Riverside and Providence throughout the season. And for Coach Ferguson and company, even though they took a 4 loss, it's like Ferguson said after their game against Lancaster a few weeks ago. Of if there's a time for you to beat us, it's now. So there's the only direction here for Providence to go is up as they go into their second year in 2021 in varsity 8-man football.
Definitely, every game they got better. I don't think they took a step back in any of the games. Their talent continued to get better and develop throughout the year. And at the end of the year, you didn't really want to play them because of how much they've progressed. And for them not having a varsity football team, and this is their first year, they have to be excited with what Coach Ferguson's doing in Murfreesboro.
It's
not.
Yep.
To be fair, they did struggle against Ezel Harding.
Yes.
Like you said, FCA, they put up 16. They had them on the ropes. Franklin Classical had to have a comeback drive. They struggled against Lancaster, and then Ezel Harding beat them 60-14. But at times they showed a lot of good points and a lot of potential. And it's like Coach Ferguson said after the Lancaster game, look, if you're going to beat us, now's your time, because we're losing. We're not losing as many seniors.
They're not. No, they're not. And Providence next year, they look dangerous, and I believe next year they'll be playoff eligible. So imagine how they would tear up the TSIAA playoffs if they were in it this year.
So they're losing one, two, three, four seniors off the team, and that's it. And that's not.
Seniors, yeah.
And then they've got all their JV guys that went 5-0 this year. All the 8th graders coming into freshmen coming onto the team. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Whew.
It
Yeah.
looks impressive, but
Something special is brewing.
in Murfreesboro, yep. Congratulations to the Riverside Christian Academy Knights. They get the win, and they collide with the Franklin Classical School Knights in the Division II Championship, and the official date and time of that to be announced at a later time. And
I missed. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And for Providence Christian, that's the final game of their inaugural season. They were trying to reschedule the game against Sacred Heart, but of course, Coach Blankenship and company, they got senior night done and out of the way, and they opted to end their season early.
Just want to throw in here. Obviously, I missed on Providence. I had Providence I had them at 2-5. To be fair, they did have 2 games get canceled on them.
So technically, those forfeit games.
Sacred Heart, and who was the other team that canceled on them?
Let's see.
What helmet schedule?
They had
Who did
FCA.
they not play?
They had Sacred Heart. They were at Ezel, at Classical. They didn't have a game
Okay.
canceled. Unless they rescheduled
1,
one
2,
that was
3,
without
4,
the helmet
5,
schedule.
6. Who was the? Why did I have them at 2-5 then?
That's a good question.
So you're saying none of their games got canceled?
They hosted FCA. They hosted. They were supposed to host Sacred Heart. That got canceled. They were at Ezel Harding bye week, at Franklin Classical, at Lancaster, and then hosted Riverside this past weekend.
So I don't know why.
Maybe there was a game that got rescheduled or something like that. Maybe I don't know.
That's
I don't know the
really
answer for you
weird.
on that.
That's really weird. But to be fair, I did have Providence at 2-5. They did end up 0-5. If you count Sacred Heart as a forfeit win, because Sacred Heart was the one that backed out.
Yep.
If you count that as a forfeit win, that's 1-5, and that might be it. But Riverside, I did predict at 3-4, and they ended 3-4. So
just not the game.
Just gonna throw that up.
They ended up 3-4, but not necessarily with the games that you that you.
No,
predicted
that's
that.
fair. But record-wise, I did get their record right.
Yep.
I missed pretty bad this year on my picks. It was rough.
I'll address that in a
It was
little bit.
rough.
I'll address that in a little bit, and but with Riverside and Providence, our producer just walked out. I was going to dialogue with him a little bit about this next game.
Nope, he out. I also predicted Bowling Green at 0-6. If you take the FCA game out, they ended up 0-6 or 0-5.
So, yes, Zach. Zachary, did you have anything?
No, I was just listening. Sorry.
All good. All right. So next, I'm sure producer Jack will be back in a second. But we next talk about the game that we were at on Friday night in a battle for the right to host a playoff game, and Ezel Harding got the job done. The defending conference champions, 40-26 over Lancaster Christian in what was a 24-20 score at halftime. Ezel Harding outscored him 24-20 in the second quarter, and then outscored him in the second half. So it went down to 16-6 in the second half. Maybe in the third quarter. I think that was combined third and fourth quarter. But it was interesting to me because in Lancaster's game against Franklin Christian, neither team scored in the first quarter either. They kept them to I don't know if it's that both of the teams just needed to get going and get sped up in that, but for Ezel Harding, Dustin McGee is an incredible coach. The coaching staff there, and the same could be said about Coach Bragg and company, but Coach McGee and company, especially with them coming from the TSSAA, they have that experience. They have that experience under their belt of knowing how to have your guys lead the charge to hold the lead and not let another team get up on you. And they especially did, and I'll give your thoughts on this, producer Jack. They especially for Ezel Harding, they got to Lancaster's offense early. They prevented Lancaster from really getting any passes off or any rushes or things like that. And when you stop Bragg and Horde on offense, that's really where you stop Lancaster.
It was a thing. The thing that I really pointed out from it was, yes, they stopped Deuce Bragg and everything like that. But if they didn't do that, if they didn't have that key thing going for them, they honestly would have lost that game because they had three turnovers there. I think in the first half. I don't know if
They
they
did
were on the first quarter, and like it was really worrying for at least a little bit because of that by itself.
Yeah, Lancaster not being able to capitalize on those turnovers.
Huge.
And I'm not saying it's anyone's fault. I'm not saying as a trying to be negative. I'm just pointing out a fact. Them not being able to capitalize on those 3 turnovers is really what changed the course of the game. To me, as I'm watching it.
Because the whole point is you need to go. This is a team that literally won it all last year. This is a team that has championship experience. This is a team that actually, like very few teams, they really do know how to close out games. They are very strong at closing out games. And so going ahead on a team like that and making them play from behind, especially when they got the ball in the second half, if they were to capitalize at least on one of those 3 in the first half, it would have changed things completely. And also, well, I'll get into it more.
Well, yeah, I mean, and with those 3 turnovers, that's really it's a 48-point swing.
Yes.
Because Ezel Harding could put up 24 on those 3 drives, but at the same time, Lancaster could have done the same thing, put up 24 points, and instead we just ended up with nothing. Those 24 points would have put Lancaster at 50. That's a 50-40 game at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The other thing I find interesting is that Lancaster, they did not once go for a point after. They went for 2-point conversions the entire
Well, you
game.
had to.
They had to keep
In
up
a high-scoring game there.
In a game like that, you absolutely – like if it's a game where hey, listen, we're going to get up in the first half, yeah, you go ahead and kick the extra points all day long.
But I also found it interesting how no team yet has gone for just a regular field goal at all.
Lancaster did earlier in the year.
Which game?
Hang on.
Probably
I'm
not
looking.
when
I was told about it. I believe it was Sacred Heart.
Lancaster did it. Yeah, Lancaster did it versus Sacred Heart.
Yeah, Sacred Heart.
Okay.
They
And
kicked a
we
field
saw
goal.
we saw the Heat do it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's at least been twice. But I found it interesting how there were several that I wonder what their field goal kicker's range is. At least for
That's a good
Lancaster.
question.
I wonder if he's got if it's in 25 yards or short, if it's 30 yards or anything like that. Because think about the amount of if Lancaster had even gotten field goals on those turnovers, it would have been you had let's say they get a field goal on each of those 3 turnovers.
So 9
points. Hypothetically 9 points. That'd be 40-35. So that would have put them within 1 touchdown instead of 2.
And to be fair, of course, I picked Lancaster to go unbeaten for the season, so I was 3 games off. I missed pretty badly on them. Ezel Harding, I picked at 4-4. They ended up 5-3, so a game off. It was close. It was close, but congrats to Ezel Harding. This is also an Ezel Harding team. I want to point out that halfway through the season, at one point of the season, they were sitting at 1-3. To be fair, they played a good Tennessee Heat team. They played Christian Community. Again, that game being without Liddell, who has proven in the last 3 games that he is a game changer.
Yes.
Yep. And then both Franklin teams they split the difference on that, and one of those Franklin games in overtime.
Well, they got shut out by Franklin Christian, 38 to nothing. And they beat Classical, but that's what I'm saying. Their losses, that was a struggling they struggled in the first half of the season. But then you reel off a win against Providence, win against Riverside on the road, and then you reel off a win against Lancaster, and they've put themselves in a situation to host that game and potentially get to the second round because of their first round matchup. I mean, these guys have dug deep from somewhere. And guys like Coleman, Liddell, Valbuena, these guys have just absolutely stepped up to the challenge. I mean, you looked on that game-winning drive, the drive from Lancaster, the last one, that second down play, that was a sack by Valbuena. and he was just
I
showing
was, I
up.
was
and,
about to shout out and say, how about Valbuena on that sack?
he just absolutely stepped up, and he put Lancaster in a situation where now they're really trying to get going because they weren't able to make it happen on their first 2 downs, and they had those last 3 downs to make it happen.
I was gonna say with Coleman and everything like that. With he had 2 early fumbles in the game. I mean, I'm talking first quarter, and he did a great job with finishing and like not letting them get to his head.
Yeah,
early,
exactly.
And he played through that. He played physical for the rest of the game. I mean, like that's one of your key points with stepping up because he did a fantastic. DK Metcalf is a grown man. Anyways, but he did a great job with stepping up and really just playing the part to a former championship team because honestly, for any player to have fumbled twice in a big playoff game like that, it's going to get to you, but it really didn't get to him at all, and I'm really impressed with his comeback.
Kadarius Price, who is now playing at, I believe it's the Howard School in Chattanooga, moved and played ball down there when Metro decided they weren't going to let the kids play until later on in the season. You wonder how Ezel Harding would be with Price, but at the same time,
it'd be a whole different game.
It would be different, but at the same time, you were talking about how Coleman played Friday, and he started off struggling the first half, came back strong. I mean, he was pressuring Bragg on that last drive, on those last couple drives. That just kind of reflects that entire Ezel Harding team. Like I was saying, they struggled, they dug deep, they came back and put themselves in a good position. So kudos to them. Shout out to them.
Yes. And anything from you on that game, Zachary?
Well, that was honestly the first playoff game that we're gonna have. Even though not really a playoff game per se.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was for meeting, and it was for a home game. And with Ezel Harding winning this championship last year, they know how to win these big games. The players have that taste in their mouth, and now they're gonna be a dangerous team. Whoever they draw.
Did the Heat have?
Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So, but the way that they've been playing, I mean, got for Ezel Harding in this in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to ask, point being brought up on our stream, did the Heat have a field goal against Sacred Heart, a field goal attempt?
Yes.
I think they did.
Yes.
I think they did.
Yeah.
So
that's 3.
Zach and I were on that. So probably about 3.
I wasn't there, so I didn't.
So at
know.
least 3 field goal attempts on the year. So.
But no, I completely agree with you, Zach. That was pretty much the start of the playoffs right there. It had that feel to it.
Oh yeah, it almost felt like the Titans Colts game a few years ago, where it was essentially a play to get in.
Right.
Or
win and you're in.
Yeah, win and you're in. Lose, you go home. And the Titans case, they
winning you're in, losing you drink booze.
Another thing with Ezel is they start like James said, they start off 1-3. So basically, ever since their 4th game of the season has been a playoff game essentially for them.
Well,
because they couldn't afford to lose.
And that's the game against FCA where they got shut out 38-0 at home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of the turning point. It seems right there.
I'm sure Coach McGee gave them this fire-up speech of a lifetime to get them ready for the remainder of the season. Imagine if they hadn't won that game against Franklin Classical in overtime, would have been a completely different landscape for the playoffs.
100%.
Because that'd be another hypothetical situation there. But
well, they would be 4-4, but they would be 4-4, and then they would be, if you don't count Providence, they would have their only division win would have come against Riverside, and that's the other thing against Riverside. And the way that game was, they don't get that win against Riverside, they're out.
Yep.
So digging deep, getting that win against Classical, no matter how controversial it was, getting the win against Classical, and then getting the win against Riverside in that boat race.
Yep.
I mean, those are the 2 games they absolutely had to win, and they got the job done.
Yep, they got the job done. Congratulations to Ezel Harding. They get to host the Lighthouse Christian School Lions this coming Friday in the quarterfinals, and winner of that game will take a trip up to the South Haven Christian School Patriots. And for Lancaster Christian, they travel to essentially their kryptonite at May Flanders Field as they collide with the Christian Community School Colts, and we could possibly see history on Saturday because Lancaster right now is 0-4 at May Flanders Field. They might go 1-4 and pull the upset against the runner-ups for the championship.
But we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll see if it happens. But
we'll get there after later on in the show.
Speaking of the Lighthouse Christian School Lions, James and I went up early morning to Bowling Green, Kentucky, as they collided with the Bowling Green Warriors. And we were, before we get into the score, we want to congratulate Coach Don Brown, an incredible run with 6 seasons as the head coach of the formerly the Bowling Green Christian Academy Warriors, now the Bowling Green Warriors, as he put up his coaching cap and will be letting Dave Irons take over.
David Irons, old David. If you played ball anytime from 2011 to 2013, you know the name. Or if you coached, you know the name. I'll give you a hint, Aaron Academy. There you go.
Yeah. Just for the people who don't know,
He was one of 2 guys. James Kinney did it too. But David Irons of Weston Kinney was most famous for living in Bowling Green, but driving to Hendersonville every day for either practice or the games.
It's a lot of miles.
The drive from Bowling Green to Hendersonville. So you're looking at about a 50-minute drive one way.
A lot of miles. A lot of miles
Yes,
in a
sir.
week.
The fact that DK Metcalf has 6 for 6. He is 6 for 6, 115 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You know,
I gotta turn off red zone here.
you know who I want to see throw to DK Metcalf?
Trace McSorley.
Why would you steal my thunder like that?
Mike
I knew it was
Glennon.
gonna happen. Oh goodness.
Mike Danucci.
Okay, but congratulations to Don Brown on his coaching career. I believe he ended 18 and 26. I mean, 8 games off from being 500, and they had some good wins. Of course, MTAC Bowl champions in 2018 on the road at Riverside as well. And they made it to the playoffs last year. And in there, it's been a season of struggles for their independent program and with everything that they had going on, but Lighthouse got the job done, and they've got the momentum going to Ezel Harding next week, 22-18, as see EJ Nesbitt, Jamari Teague and company get the job done on the road. And with a 4-point game, it lived up to the hype. Bowling Green has been in multiple situations this season where they have been down by 2 touchdowns or more, and they've just crawled back. They've just come back to try and get it, and it's also a testament to Lighthouse's defense and guys like Kobe Sweat stepping up to prevent Bowling Green from completing the amazing comeback. So for Coach Hollis and company, they've got a momentum win going into the postseason.
Well, and for Bowling Green, guys like Gage Blankenship were so crucial. You know, the first Bowling Green touchdown, the pick 6, and then he had another touchdown catch, pretty wide open. And they had their moments. Shane Walker did great at quarterback. Of course, you've got seniors like Canby and guys like Cooper Guy. For Lighthouse, though, you kind of have to look at Colby Searcy as a guy who really stepped up yesterday in terms of defense. You mentioned Kobe. You mentioned EJ. Teague had a great day. Just across the board, even guys like Jared Campbell, who's been at Lighthouse for forever, he was even somebody that, stepped in and made a play. So, it was a team effort on their part, and that's really what they're going to have to bring to the table Friday. It's going to be all hands on deck. Listen, we might be outgunned, but you never know, because here's the thing. That Lighthouse CCS game, if Lighthouse cleans the snaps up, I think they don't struggle as much as they did. There was a lot of bad snaps on their part. I think they play CCS pretty close. CCS didn't absolutely blow them out, like by any means. I don't think it was a big win, but didn't really blow them out. And then you've got CCS who beat Ezel Harding when Ezel Harding was down Liddell. That's why Liddell is such a key piece. If he comes out of Friday's game, you could have Lighthouse winning. Not yet, producer Jay.
No playoff brackets yet. We'll get to that.
No, but I'm just saying Liddell is such a key piece, and of course, that's a Stephen A. Smith hot take, and I get that. But if Liddell is not in that game, I mean, could you have Lighthouse moving on? Could you have an upset of the state champions? I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there.
You've said it all along that Lighthouse could be the dark horse in the playoffs. And it's possible.
Yeah, I was about to say I that was kind of like it's the whole point of a dark horse is like they're not the expected winner. Like they're not like a key candidate, but like there's things that if they have things going their way, if they play up to par, they are scary, and that's kind of the point that James is making. That it's potentially possible.
And
Thank you for mansplaining my point, but it's okay.
I wasn't. We're both men here, so there ain't no mansplaining.
Yeah, and it was a great conclusion to our regular season broadcast coverage as well.
It was a great game. I mean,
yeah,
it was
it was
so
good.
nice to not end the season, to not take time out of our Saturday morning/afternoon, stand in the back of a pickup truck
Thanks to
after
Don
driving
Brown
to
on that
Bowling
again.
Ground. Shout out to Coach Brown. All this stuff. It was so nice to not have all that stuff and then have just a blowout game. It was so nice to have a decent game.
Oh yeah, and of course again, congratulations to Don Brown on an incredible coaching career. David Irons will take over the helm, whether it's as the Bowling Green Warriors in 2021 or the Legacy Christian Eagles. As we were told, nothing's been finalized on that. Hopefully, it is, so they can potentially get something going. But we'll see how it goes from there. Zachary, any final thoughts on Lighthouse Bowling Green?
Well, while watching Lighthouse, I was skeptical of Lighthouse. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know how good they actually were. But watching them play against Bowling Green, I think Jack is right. I think they have a chance to go pretty far if they get the bounces to go their way.
And I'm sure we'll break it down in a little bit when we talk about the game, the predictions and kind of looking forward to the games. But I just want to point out the number of 4-year seniors that Lighthouse has on their team that have never been to a playoff game is just ridiculous. It's crazy. I'm looking at their rosters right now. I'm looking at 2016 because I want to see if any of these guys were on the team as 8th graders. Does not look like it. So I'm looking at 2017's roster because those are the guys that the freshmen on that year would be seniors this year. Obviously, that's how math works. Congratulations. What?
It's just a funny comment.
It's a very funny comment.
Yes.
That's how math works. Me being a homeschooler, I know that.
Continue.
What you got?
I'm pulling it up right now.
All right, Ben DiNucci.
No, it's Dinucci. Bendinucci. 2017 roster. Now that Max Preps finally decided to stop giving me like 50 ads per page. Thanks, Max
Why
Preps
I've
for.
had Walker on like every.
Yes.
Thanks, Max Preps for nothing.
Ad block plus.
4-year seniors on the team: Jared Campbell, Kobe Sweat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Others. That might be it. And then they've got Jamari Teague, who's a senior. So, I mean, they've got some guys who have, they got a chip on their shoulder.
Oh yeah.
And they're ready to go in there.
A lot of good stuff to look forward to. And again, congratulations to the Lighthouse Christian School Lions as they are back in the playoffs for the first time since 2016. They're back in the postseason, and they've got a tough challenge against the Harding Christian School Eagles, and of course for the Bowling Green Warriors. Will they become the Legacy Eagles next season, or will they continue as the only independent team that we cover in Tennessee?
Lighthouse hasn't won a playoff game since.
Well, sorry, not in Tennessee, in Kentucky.
Lighthouse has not won a playoff game since 2015 bowl game.
That's been a while. So we'll see if they can pull it off. Yeah, because 2016 they took the loss to Webb, and we'll see if they can.
I'm doing the research right now.
We'll see if they can start a magical playoff run. And let's just go over before we get into the playoff bracket. I want to acknowledge one thing here. So, final regular season records: the Jet Thompson, 32-14, 13-7 for games that we broadcast, and James, 30-16, 11-9 for games he broadcast.
Wasn't
on
a strong
YouTube.
year.
So, hey,
but that goes to show we broadcasted 20 games this regular season.
Yep.
Which is a record.
Is that actually a record?
It is a record because we averaged 16, 17 games over the last couple of years. And part of that being the month of October, 4 doubleheaders.
Yeah.
Absolutely putting in work this month, boys.
There was no triple header this year. This is the first time we haven't had a triple header, unfortunately. I think we had one in 2019.
I don't think we could have done a triple header, to be fair.
We could have. We could have pulled something off.
Not with you over here slacking.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Listen.
you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say.
You don't have to say it on air.
Don't make me sick. Don't make me sick.
And
Trace McSorley on you.
So congratulations to the Jet. And are you? Let me ask.
Hey, by the way,
Yeah.
the 4 doubleheaders this month, and then we had 2 doubleheaders in September, so 6.
6
So
double
6 weekends: Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday.
Yep.
I counted my record up.
What's your record?
33-13.
33-13. So technically, Zachary won. Zachary, in your first
Congratulations.
season.
You
know what?
Congratulations.
We're okay
in
with
your
that.
first week. In your
Thank you.
first-
Must have been nice. Must have been nice to pick your games after me.
Actually, I didn't even count. I was just even.
He just said, "What's one?"
Oh,
better
he
than
got
You just
you.
made us clap and everything.
1, 2, 3,
mad.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
Can I?
16? How was I 11-9 when we only broadcasted 16 games?
You sure we only broadcasted 16?
1, 2.
Well, he said he said on YouTube games. So the question is, did he mean ours that we broadcast, or did he combine that with others that were live streamed?
Surely it would have had to be ours.
I would
and
hope so.
I said, I don't know how that happened because we only did 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
I'm not a math guy, but that doesn't add up to me. But
2 and 2 is not equaling 4 here.
Are you counting that on the master schedules with the highlights?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
17 games.
and
So,
then I took that personally.
okay, count the middle school, 18.
18. Okay, 18, and so 18. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Maybe I didn't highlight 2 of them on the schedule. I didn't change it. Maybe he's right.
Go back and look on our YouTube channel.
You look on the YouTube.
It's been a long year.
So you guys are picking up from where the regular season left off as you go into the postseason, but now the game has changed.
I didn't have a great season, 30-16.
It's not terrible.
You only missed 10
Struggled.
games last year. So
Struggled.
you only missed 10 games last year. That's still a positive record.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Still pick the games
in
before
most
the season.
in most NBA seasons, that'd be one of the top seeds in the conference.
Still pick the games before the season.
No, I know. Yours again. In the words of James, in the same inflection, preseason.
Yeah, for preseason predictions, that was pretty good. There was just a
Okay.
couple teams you missed.
1,
on,
2,
but
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
14,
15, 16, 17. So how on earth did I go 11-9 when we only did 17 games?
Maybe he miscounted. It happens, but regardless, he took the W. He took the W. so
Congratulations.
congratulations to him on that. Okay.
So he gets the belt.
Does he get the belt for the regular season, or are you continuing in the postseason?
So if there was an actual belt, he would get it for the regular season. But since we don't have a belt yet, we're counting the postseason. We're just continuing. So going into the postseason, the 5 postseason games, he does have a 2-game lead on me.
Yep. But now the game has changed because you're able to pick week by
week, sir.
So,
But to be fair, he can still pick 2 days after me.
that is true. He can wait and then either be the ultimate contrarian by taking the opposite pick of you, or he could.
There
pick
were
the same
2 or
as you.
3 broadcasts picked up at last minute. I literally just counted the broadcast on our YouTube channel.
I'm sorry, that's just funny.
You're fine. You're fine. All right, Well, maybe you have to make another count. Who knows? But all right.
All right, here you go. In the chat, okay? List out the games you're talking about. If you're listening, list out the games you're talking about. Cuz I'm only counting 17, homeboy.
Only on our YouTube channel, only 17.
Man, I missed 16.
You missed 10 last year. I mean, you just missed. Excuse me. You just missed on a few teams. It happens.
I missed bad.
But how about this? How about you being correct that the Tennessee Heat went unbeaten in 8-man football in Tennessee?
That's true. I was a couple games off on the Heat. Obviously, what hurt me was picking South Haven and Lancaster to go unbeaten. That hurt. But Lighthouse, 2-4
Mm-hmm.
on the money. CCS, what was their final record?
Let's see, 0-2. Let's see, they started 0-2, 1-2. Did they beat? They beat ESL?
Yes, they beat ESL Harding.
Okay, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, 4-3, 5-3, 5-3. But
Okay.
that's minus the FCA game. So 5-3.
Okay, well I had them at 2-7, so I missed on them. Sacred Heart, I was off by it's hard to tell. I picked them at 2-7. They ended 1-4, something like that. FCA obviously missed on. FCA a unbeaten 6-0 season, regular season. Would have liked to see them put that on the line this last Friday night though, against Freedom or the Heat. I know you mentioned that in your tweet. I would have liked to see them put that on the line, but I digress.
Yeah, 6-0. I mean, you could say 7-0 if you count the Warriors game. But yeah, 6.
If it was an
6-0.
in-conference game, I think you could. But with it being an independent team, I struggle to see counting that. That's just my opinion.
But
FC Classical. What was Classical's?
Classical, let's see. Classical, they were 0-1, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 2-4.
Oh, I missed on them.
2-5, and 2-5 at the end of the year.
I had them at 5-3.
Yeah,
I think I was pretty close on Freedom.
Helmet schedule isn't updated. They updated theirs because they picked up a few games. So you get to pick some of those week by week. But anyway,
16 games.
You missed 16 games, but hey, I mean, it just means that next year you'll reevaluate. And again, the game has changed.
I did count. Ezekiel Cowboys game was called, but produced by another crew. I did call the Cowboys Ezekiel game. I counted it.
He counted all the ones that were published to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, all the ones done on our YouTube channel.
I vote for this being a private conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just move on. Yeah. Okay, let's pull up the TSIAA.
You got a hot date tonight? You
Me and my mother.
Hot date with a
go
Cleveland.
out. We're gonna go to Waffle House. I'm gonna treat her.
Aw.
Love my mother.
Yeah.
And how do you feel now? Do you feel uncomfortable? 'Cause I love my mother.
Oh, you're being serious?
Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Good for you.
Let's go to the 2020 TSIAA 8-man football playoff bracket. So the schedule has been published for the first round. So the Ezel Harding Eagles will host the Lighthouse Christian School Lions on Friday. Ezel Harding, the only game as far as I'm aware that they played on Saturday since 8-man was the state championship last year because they had to move that game with everything going on. But
was that bracket published by us or?
This is our bracket.
Okay.
Yeah, this is our bracket. This is the finalized schedules as we've received them from school sources. Ezel Harding will host the Lions November 6th at 7 p.m. and then Christian Community, they will host the Lancaster Christian Academy Knights on Saturday at 7:30. As they go through various protocols. And, of course, the winner of the Eagles-Lions game goes to Springfield the following week to collide with the Patriots. And the winner of Christian Community and Lancaster will head down. Either of those teams will head downward to Franklin or downward westward. Technically, all of them are going westward in some way to Jim Warren Park to collide with the Franklin Christian Academy Falcons. And both the Patriots and Falcons are on 2-3 weeks rest. So extra bye week for them to heal up any injuries or bruises that they may have, and more importantly, get prepared to host a semi game and potentially get to the.
I know South Haven canceled on Classical and FCA got canceled on.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you hate to see the game canceled, but of course they had to for various reasons. But we'll see how it goes. And then, of course, the championship culminating on Saturday, November 21st at May Flanders Field. What are you're just giving a grunt about? Is that the private conversation again?
No, okay. The Friday's the 6th.
Oh, yep, Friday is November 6th. Saturday is November 7th.
Spence, you know what that?
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Second
round of the playoffs will be played on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
I don't think we should broadcast or do anything that day. Now that you say
All right,
do
well,
it.
live announced right here on broadcast, Friday the 13th, we will be taking.
We are staying safe.
We will be
With the way-
quarantining, not for
way-
COVID reasons.
Not
for the how 2020 has been going. Let's not
We
take
will
our
not be
chances.
gambling.
No.
Psych.
Just joking with you guys. What do you guys think of this playoff bracket, James? Look at the ways teams shape up. You know, you could have Lighthouse if they pull off the upset. They go up to collide with South Haven. You could possibly have Lancaster and Franklin Christian in a rematch from that coast game, or Christian Community FCA, first time they faced off against each other in the playoffs since 2017. If that happens, what do you make of the bracket from what you see?
I mean, it's definitely interesting. I mentioned a couple weeks ago the second round, first time in a while that both of the home games hosted at City Fields. I think that's kind of interesting. I mean, obviously the storylines kind of write themselves. Battle for the bell, first round. Lancaster CCS's history at May Flanders, first round. Second round, you know, you could get we could get Ezel Harding South Haven for the first time ever.
Yep.
They've never played each other. You know, with FCA, whether if CCS wins, of course, the history between those two goes back a ways, like a long time, especially playoff games at FCA. There's been some interesting ones, and then you know the Lancaster FCA game that we had earlier this year, the 14-6.
Well, we didn't broadcast it, but the one that
I'm just saying that we had, that everyone had.
Yep.
You know, you'd get a rematch of it. So you know, definitely some interesting scenarios happening there.
Zachary, what's your big take from what you see in the bracket? You know, you have South Haven and FCA, and as far as I'm aware, the only team that has hosted a playoff game. Obviously, the 16 playoff came back last year, but the only team that has lost in recent memory that hosted a playoff game, at least, was the Webb School in 2017, and South Haven lost in the first round last year. But those are the only two in recent memory. But your thoughts on the finalized bracket?
I think we're in for some good matchups. Ezel possibly against South Haven, as you said. I really want to see CCS versus Lancaster, especially with Deuce in now. See what's going to happen this Friday night, and then you could have a CCS versus FCA to go to the championship game for maybe a possible rematch of last year's CCS versus Ezel. So I mean, it's shaping up to be a pretty interesting playoff, and basically every game has a different big storyline.
Spencer, there
You
is
usually don't have that.
Sorry, Spencer, there is a situation that we could have Lancaster South Haven.
Yep.
If Lighthouse was to upset Ezel Harding, and then Lancaster beat CCS. So that would be another just
if the 3 seed from the South gets the job done, because it's a tough route. And here's the other thing about CCS: they've been in the state championship every year since 2017. It's a much tougher road for them to get back there. If anyone could do it, it's Coach Flanders and company. But it's a much tougher. It's a tougher road than they've had in the past.
Well, it's a tough road for Ezel Harding too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta go through South Haven yes, you've got Lighthouse, but you know you got to get through that game without any injuries, and then you've got to go on the road to South Haven more than likely.
Yeah.
But if there's a team that can weather that, it's Ezel Harding with Liddell.
It's looking like a good bracket, and hopefully we'll get one of those second round games on a Thursday. The difficulty they have is with it being hosted on public fields, and trying to shift those games around for one way or another is extremely difficult. But maybe one of them will move, so that way we could cover both of the semifinals. But we'll see how.
Well,
it
if
goes.
not, I mean,
If not, we can. We'll
it
see
may
what
be
we
a
can do.
situation. Yeah, we'll see. We'll announce what we're going to do next Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
We'll finalize it.
Time to get into one of our favorite segments in Sound Off. Our producer Jack Helwig is about to get things done. All right, time for the introduction. Let's do this, Mr. Jack Helwig.
Can we do a reverse? Can I do your intro and then you do my outro?
What?
Let's switch it. Let's see how it goes. Okay.
Oh no, rock paper scissors. Let me guess.
Wow.
All right, you can do it. It's fine. I want to see how you do it.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's time for the Sound Off.
It sounded more like he was trying to sing. He's trying more to say,
All right, it's time for the sound off.
There you go.
There we go. I like that.
Yeah, there you go.
All
Well,
right,
it sounded like
since-
he was trying out for choir at first.
I did sing in the choir girl. I sing.
So there's a lot
I
of.
can sing. I'm the only one in this group that can sing.
Whoa.
That's a lie.
Really?
I'll have you know, in 4th grade, I was actually at a talent show and I sang "Eye of the Tiger" in front of my entire school. Right?
Oh.
Yeah.
I sang
was
every.
a singer, but that was before puberty.
I bet you I can sing the national anthem better. I bet you I can sing the national anthem better than anybody in this group.
Yeah. Whoever hosts the championship, if you like a singer for national anthem,
James Shannon.
James Shannon, ladies and gentlemen.
He could double over as a producer and as a national anthem singer.
And what a guy.
All right, sound off.
So now we have 2 games going on, the 6th and the 7th. Isa Harding. We got Lighthouse. We got Lancaster. And we've got CCS. So why are we laughing?
Because the way you said it, you were like, "We got
No,
Lancaster,
that's not
we
what
got
I'm
Diesel,
laughing
we got
about.
CCS."
That's not what I'm laughing about.
Oh, someone's this.
Anyways, we interrupted sound off. Please continue.
It's all good. So here's the thing I'm going to get into. I'm just going to get into first round, take things week at a time, whatever. So there's win conditions for every single 4 teams that we have listed right now. So with Isa Harding facing off against the Lions, like I said, they are my dark horse, and then James has already kind of covered. In order for them to win, everything kind of has to go their way, et cetera, et cetera. We already got the point. But in order for Isa Harding to win this game, they have to play a complete game. If they don't play a complete game, then there's a chance that they could get upset. And what notes I've taken from this is last week, whenever they played against Deuce Bragg and company, their defensive schemes and everything like that were not ideal, at least from my perspective. Because if you guys can agree with me, disagree with me, I'd like to hear y'all's opinions on this. If you know ahead of time that you're facing off against a guy who is probably the best, we can say, best quarterback safely in 8-man right now. Would you say Deuce Bragg's best quarterback in 8-man right
No, I disagree.
now? Who would you say?
Matthew Corley, Tennessee Heat.
Okay, fair enough. So
In the conference?
okay, how about this? In
the conference,
in
it's
playoff,
fine.
In the playoff bracket, do you think he's the best quarterback in the playoffs?
No, I've made that very clear.
Who's the best?
Oh yeah, you're go for Isa Harding.
No,
Who's the best quarterback in the TSIAA playoff bracket?
Andrew Crawley,
All right.
So
100%.
we'll disagree on that, which is
That's fine.
which is completely fine. So, anyways, we could all respect Deuce Bragg and his talent and everything like that.
Now,
So-
if you had worded it most dangerous, I would say Liddell.
Yes.
Most reliable, I would say Dooley from FCA.
Yes.
Best, Crawley.
And I say Deuce Bragg. We disagree on that term.
That's fair.
I
That's
think,
fair.
I think Crawley's amazing, but I think Deuce has that edge.
We might get Deuce versus Crawley.
I will be very excited if I see it. So, the thing with how Isa Harding played against Deuce, there was one big issue was their defensive schemes. If you know a guy is the best player the best player on the offensive side is the quarterback, you kind of want to shut down the quarterback. Now, in 8-man football on a 50-by-100 field, there's a lot of open space to make plays and everything like that, and you guys can agree, disagree with me. I might be wrong. There's no reason why they should be rushing 2 in the entire game and dropping back 6, because I made a comment during that game. The safety made maybe 2 plays the entire game. That was it. And they were big plays. But like you can't play a guy for 60 minutes on the football field and he does 2 things in 60 minutes. I'm just saying.
But to be fair, how much pressure did those 2 guys put on Deuce Bragg?
Deuce Bragg got sacked one time. That one time he got sacked, it was 3 people rushing.
Okay, so you're saying
And every single time they would do it, they would either come from the outside and he would step on the pocket, or they'd go from one side and he stepped to the right in a
That's
play
fair.
action rollout, or not play action, to a rollout, and then get some open look. He'd get maybe 4 yards on the ground, or he'd find an open receiver downfield. Whether
That's
it was
fair.
caught or whether it was a good pass or not, we can make those marks. But what I'm saying is, there's something on the defensive side that needs changing. It was a great way to close the game off. They did a great job, but you cannot blitz 2 people the entire game, because the one time they blitzed 3, they got a huge sack which really was the tone setter for the end of the game, to be honest. It was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Douchebag does not do good under pressure. I'll say that right here on broadcast. He does not do well whenever he's pressured and under the pocket.
Yeah, because he totally didn't run for like a 70-yard touchdown against Providence, but I digress.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, from what I've seen,
Okay.
in the one game that I've watched, because you guys have seen more than I have,
Okay, so he didn't do well under pressure against Ezel Harding.
from the times that they showed pressure. So
But that doesn't define him for the entire season, though.
it shouldn't. But now that's the most recent that we've seen of him. We're going into playoffs. We're going into a game against CCS. We're going against a game with CCS at a field that they've never won at. How am I supposed to feel?
That's fair.
I feel like at this point, how do we not make the assumption CCS shows up and wins the game?
And we know how much Zachary loves that CCS defense.
Yes. And then
But I also love Deuce, so it's
And then it was a
it's,
close game.
I'm sure you feel is torn.
It was a good game. Well, I'm talking about post playoffs between CCS and Knights. So it was a close game without Deuce. It could go either way. But playoff time, CCS's field, it's totally different. But I'm covering Ezel Harding's game. Their win condition, in order to win their playoff game, they need to just play an entire full-out game, because they came out really weak the first half, and they could have won that game first half if they didn't have several mistakes.
Zach, with you having CCS's defense against Deuce Bragg, you have to be as torn as Rose laying on that board in the middle of the ocean.
I love the analogy.
wow.
I gotta tell you, man, the amount of comparisons and analogies and similes that he's been giving to me on broadcast for the last few weeks.
Did you hear the one I said yesterday? There was a big hit. I said he got hit harder than a test dummy in a crash wall.
I can't tell if James is trying to make me laugh on air or if he's genuinely trying to be. I'm
being entertaining.
Okay, well, there's a difference between being.
broadcast.
Yes, exactly.
I'm what? Wait, what?
You're gonna make me cry on broadcast. There's a difference between being entertaining and trying to be funny. Because you could be both, but there's a difference between being entertaining in the sporting.
Yeah, but I'm trying to be entertaining.
And
I'm trying to be
Trying to
entertaining.
be Jim Gaffigan.
And Jim Gaffigan is amazing.
I'm not saying he isn't. I'm saying there's a difference.
I am
between the two.
trying to be entertaining, and as a byproduct, I'm very funny. I'm a funny-looking person. I'm a funny person. It is what it is.
So,
What a guy.
and then,
That was
I only have like one more thing I gotta say.
All right, go for it. Go for it.
Predictions. So, in order for CCS to win the game, it's the same thing. You need to play a full. You need to shut down Deuce Bragg. If you can put him under pressure, if you can blitz him, if you can get sacks early, because CCS can come out strong like they always do. Their defense is solid. If you can just get a 14-point lead and make this offense play from behind, you've got this game in the bag. You've got this game in the bag every single time. Whenever you play on that field, you should be all good. In order for Deuce and company and that entire team, that defense played very strong first half. That offense needs to be in rhythm. The passes were not there the first half. Even though there were passes were high, short, whatever needed to happen. Deuce needs to hit those throws. There were people that were open that I was saying in the middle broadcast. He has the post open on the right. He has this open underneath. And they're playing.
Yeah, but that's easy to say 20 feet above the field.
I understandable. But what I'm saying is, it's a win condition. You need to be aware of these. You need to scan the field as a quarterback. And whenever you have open guys, you need to see those open guys, and that's what film is for. You'll gather their information, enter into a game. It was a winnable game last time. I think it's really a toss-up who wins it, because I think it could go both sides, despite the history. It's just there were some throws that could have decided the game, and it's the truth. So.
What was that,
Sorry.
James?
The media was turned up on my phone.
So, I think every single game is a toss-up in this first round. I think Ezel Harding has a really good chance of, with their, what's the word I'm looking for? Their fight, I guess you could say, to get back to championship and defend that.
Gusto.
Defend that honor, I guess you could say, is a key deciding factor, because we've seen them play very good the last two games that we've covered them. So it seems like they're on a roll from what we've broadcasted. and
Boys, how have we gotten so comfortable with it already being an hour in and we're just shooting the breeze?
Just having a conversation.
It is more of a conversation.
Yeah. A conversation where, we keep muting Zachary because we keep hearing our audio loop back on
Zach. Zach, do you
Yes.
disagree with me about the quarterbacks? You got me on speakerphone?
No.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of feedback. Do you agree
Sorry.
that Liddell is the most dangerous, Crawley is the best, and Dooley is the most reliable?
I disagree with the Crawley being the best.
Who's
Okay,
the
who's
best?
the best?
I think Deuce is the best.
okay, so me and Zach agree.
So what you're saying is you would pull Deuce up on the board.
Yes.
Okay.
What I will
No,
say
it's not
though-
not against Crawley. I think that they're neck and neck. It's just I think
They
that
can't
Deuce
be
is a
neck
little
and
more
neck if you think-
talented.
They can't be neck and neck if you think Deuce is the best.
Yes, they can.
He's saying it's a tight race, like it's a thin margin between who.
So they're
is
neck. So they're neck and shoulder.
like like example, you taking Russell Wilson in his prime, Patrick Mahomes right now. It's like okay, that's a it could go either way kind of thing.
No, it could not. Russell Wilson, 100%.
Mm,
100%.
It could go either way. Their conversations.
You put Russell Wilson on that Chiefs team, exact same results. You put Patrick Mahomes on the Seahawks team,
Exact same
terrible.
result. Exact same result.
No, sir. Disagree. 100%.
Well, we're not in NFL.
Okay, we're
Anyways,
not in the
so
NFL.
we
What
can have these conversations.
That might have to be a
often.
sideshow.
a sideshow
thinking about
NFL
doing
podcast.
something.
Yeah.
Do it.
So what I will say about the playoff bracket, at least from what I'm looking at, is that, like I mentioned, the only time that somebody has lost when hosting a playoff game was in 2017 with Webb and 2019 with South Haven in the first round. So far, even though it's only 1 year, so far, other than those two anomalies, a home team has not lost in the playoffs.
Are you 100% sure about that?
He's got to be. Spencer knows every single fact about every.
South Haven lost last year in the first round.
Right.
CCS did not lose.
Right.
Esau Harding did not lose.
Right.
And
Lancaster did not lose.
Lancaster did not lose.
Okay.
And then 2018, Webb and CCS won home teams.
Okay.
2017, Webb lost to South Haven. CCS beat Franklin Christian.
Okay.
I'm talking, and I said in recent memory, at least the time that I've been here.
Okay.
2016, Lighthouse did lose to Webb, who was on the road to them, and Sacred Heart beat FCA in 2016. But at least in the last 3 seasons, it's only been those two anomalies.
I'm kind of curious about 2015.
2015, FCA won, and then it was CCS.
It was FCA, CCS. Was CCS at home?
CCS was at home. They beat Franklin Classical.
Keep in mind, folks.
They
he's
did.
just like talk. He knows this off the top of his head. He's
2014?
I'm telling you, in 2014, it was FCA won
At home against against CCS.
and then Lighthouse won at home against
I think it was Grace.
Grace Christian. If it was
No, it wasn't Grace.
maybe Grace, or it could have been Webb at that point.
Hang on, I'm looking it up. It was Grace, because they played Grace the last week of the season, and then they played Grace in the first round of the playoffs back-to-back weeks. It was 67-7 and 67-0.
Okay.
2 weeks in a row.
Do you mind if I just ask one question for everybody before we
just
can round
did.
off sound off?
You just did.
One quick one. Who do you think in this bracket?
That was your quick question.
Oh,
Just
I
ask it.
Who's the most dangerous team in this bracket? Like all around dangerous.
My opinion, Esau Harding.
Okay.
I think especially in my opinion, even though I try not to express as many opinions, but at least in mine, with that game against Lighthouse, it's. I mean, I'm not going to leave it to a prediction here, but assuming if Esau wins, and it's in their favor too, if they win, South Haven's going to have their hands full at home.
You know what the biggest John Cena coming back in the Royal Rumble moment would be? If Christian Sharp walked into that game Friday night, suited and booted and ready to go for Lighthouse.
Well, not booted though.
Suited.
Cleated, because if he was booted, he wouldn't be able to play because of that ankle surgery.
It's a saying.
I know. I'm just
Suited
messing
and
with you.
booted.
Who's your most dangerous
That would
team?
be such an incredible moment.
Who's your most dangerous
My
team?
most dangerous team.
All around.
It's got to be South Haven.
Understandable.
All right.
Because you got to think about this. The majority of the games this year were blowouts, so South Haven starters didn't play the entire. Now that could come back to bite them because their starters haven't played a full 60. Well, not 60, 48 minutes, but their starters didn't play the second half most of these games.
And the only game ever since they lost to FCA, when they were leading 18-0, they
have yet to lose. Well, yeah. They haven't played great teams, but to be fair, I mean, that's the facts.
And that could have been our early preview of the championship as well.
Could have been.
It could have been, but it depends on how everything plays out. Zachary, who's your most dangerous team?
I'm going with CCS. I really am. I think their defense right now. The most dangerous team is CCS. I think their defense has gotten better from the beginning of the year, and they are. I think they're one of the elite defenses in TSIAA, and I think their offense is starting to get into gear. And I wouldn't want to face CCS right now if I was Lancaster.
They're gonna make you a doggone honorable alumni.
He's talking about you, Zachary.
Oh wow. I don't know about that one.
Who's your most dangerous team?
I just do.
Are y'all ready for this?
Do it.
I know I've had a dark horse and everything like that, and I probably would pick them, but no.
Do it.
FCA. I think is the most. FCA's defense is.
That's the easy pick because they're unbeaten.
Well, that's a valid answer though. What am I?
That's
you
fair.
said South Haven and they're number 1.
That's fair.
So why can I? I think a lot of people look at the highlights and they're like, oh, dang, for the Patriots, and then they go, oh, Deuce Bragg, they go Colts defense. I feel like FCA is kind of ignored as a number 1. We don't really talk about them that much. In my opinion, I feel like we just kind of glance over them as a number 1 seed.
Yeah, but is that because it's kind of understood? Oh well, they've got a really good team. They're going to win. They're going to do well.
Their coaching staff is great.
You understand that they're going to do well.
So how is that an answer I can't answer? Why can't I say their defense is solid? They've been playing great all year. They are unbeaten.
I think
they could be the most dangerous.
I think the reason they're underlooked is because what's really great for them has been their coaching staff. Yes. I think it's not necessarily that there's one player that stands out for Franklin Christian. It's that the collective effort between Coach Johnson coming into the helm and Shaka Hill and Casey Jorgensen. I think coaching is what is going to potentially take them far in these playoffs.
Do you think?
And Shaka Hill, yeah.
Do you think FCA has better coaching than Ezel Harding?
No, I don't.
At this point, we've seen Ezel Harding, and it led them to a state championship. But if Franklin Christian wins the state championship,
then we can say that.
Then
so,
we could.
Okay, but I'm saying right now at this point.
Right now at this point, not enough evidence to conclude that.
Yes. So we agree Ezel Harding has better coaching staff.
As of right now,
I'm saying as of now, I can't answer that because I don't have enough evidence because we haven't seen Coach Johnson at the helm for a full season.
But to be devil's advocate, Coach Johnson's had to put a team of two teams worth of players together, and merge them.
Yeah, because that actually happened to me whenever I was playing. We had what's
cool
it
story,
called?
bro.
You
want to throw hands?
All right, after broadcast.
But yeah,
putting two teams together is very difficult. I remember whenever Rockville was under construction, Wheelie had to combine teams with them, and it was annoying.
Really?
Yes, because the thing was they were under construction, so all the kids moved to various high schools. So you had athletes from there, and then you would have oh, I'm the starter, and then you'd walk in and be like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And then it's oh, he's the new starting center or something, and then you'd have genuine conflict because a guaranteed starter spot could be torn away just because some athlete came in that you didn't even think and you don't want there in the first place because you think it was kind of a cocky thing, confidence thing, and
right.
I'm the best because men testosterone, whatever you want to call it. So
what an athlete.
It's very I commend for doing that by itself. But Ezel Harding championship experience, can't go wrong with that.
It's shaping up to be an interesting playoff bracket.
I have a hot take.
Yeah, sure.
I think the best coach in the league is Coach Ferguson of Providence Christian.
I could agree with that
because he didn't have.
Jack
he didn't have
his headset.
Well, listen. So
where's the
Providence
outro
Christian?
music?
Hang on. Jack doesn't have his headset on.
Hold on. All right, go ahead. You give your justification.
Providence Christian didn't even have shoulder pads or helmets before the season started. Didn't have these guys for other teams. They've played together before, so it's not like they're trying to get they're not trying to get chemistry and all that stuff together. But Coach Ferguson brought in a team that didn't even have shoulder pads, didn't even have footballs, didn't even have basically anything that you need to have a program itself. They didn't even have, and they were competitive in almost every single game this year, besides Isa Harding and a couple others.
Oh, you can't hear him without the headset on.
Yeah.
I can. Oh, I could hear him validly. Trust me.
That's a fair point. What about Zach? What about the playoffs though?
Playoffs, Isa Harding. Is Ezel.
Coach, you're saying Coach McGee?
Yeah, thank you, Coach McGee.
My guy.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that sound off, Jack. That gave us a really good conversation. Everything going into the postseason.
You can't put the mic right there by the power brick.
If you do that,
That's how you get the
making
static.
noise. It's making noise.
Like put the headset on. Put the headset on.
Just yeah, you
Oh,
can't
that
do
actually
that.
sounds kind of nice. Hold on, I'll make a beat out of it.
Thank you, Jack. All right, it is time.
He's not leaving.
I know. No, I was just saying thank you for the stuff for the sound off.
All right.
It is time now.
What did you just
What
do?
did you? You okay?
Did you just smack your shit in the chair?
He just.
You're more injury prone than Carson Wentz.
Oh my. Okay. Oh my goodness, dude. Oh, okay. This we don't have to use this helmet schedule anymore.
Can I
It's been
take a
worn.
shot into the trash can? Can I see if I can make it from here?
All right, here. Just welcome to 8-Man Extreme Samar. Welcome to 8-Man Extreme Samar.
All right.
All right,
Bet,
here we
bet,
go.
bet.
All right, before we get into our predictions and such, James is going to take the money shot. Actually, if he makes this, he gets to choose who goes first.
All right, bet.
You get 2 shots.
He's
Your
dead.
first one. He's
Okay.
a backboard.
All right.
I'll do play-by-play here. He's got the angle. He's got the form. Swish.
Wow.
Oh, he missed. He gets another shot, though. He gets one more shot. It missed wide right. He's got the ball.
I'm gonna go
He's
one-handed
going.
on this one.
He's going.
Oh!
Oh, hit off of the rim. Off of the rim.
There's been another 2 seconds added
There's
to the
another
clock.
2 seconds. Add like 5 minutes
At
from
the
that
buzzer.
Swanee game. At the buzzer.
Oh,
Overshot it.
all right. I missed 3 times. I'm done.
So your officials added 2 seconds to the clock there, just like the guys added 5 minutes to that game in 2017.
What?
You don't remember the Swanee FCA game where the officials of that
No.
game added 5 minutes in the third
I've
quarter?
slept since then.
Yeah, that's true. Come
We
on.
need to make a shirt that says I've slept since then.
Yeah, you need a shirt that's there.
I need merch.
All right. Okay. So we can't do rock, paper, scissors with Zachary because he is distant. So
Just do pick a number.
yeah, that's what I was about to do.
Okay,
If
my
you- if
bad.
You keep cutting me off before.
My
I get the points out.
bad.
Okay. All right. Since you missed the shot, Zachary, a number between 1 and 10.
5.
James.
I'm going to I'm gonna rest with my boy Manny. No, because you picked 5.
Yeah, you would tie, and then we'd have to coin toss.
I'm gonna go with the most dangerous quarterback in the playoffs. 8 for Jamari Liddell.
It was 7.
Let's
So
go,
you-
son.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're set. So do you want to pick first? Or do you want Zachary?
No,
to pick
Zach
first?
picks first.
All right, Zachary will pick first.
Where did our bracket go?
It's still here. It's still here.
Not on the stream.
Oh, he just.
I was looking at it
he
on the
just took it off.
stream. Hang on, I'm gonna be producer James for a second.
Producer James, get the bracket up for us, please. Come on, Producer James, you got to do this.
Bam.
Okay, good job, Producer James. Everybody, Producer James, don't clap for yourself.
I always clap for myself.
This is the bracket. 2 teams have an extra week of rest for the postseason, and they await the winner of these games coming up. We start off with there are actually 2 games going on Friday night. So we will say this.
Actually, 3 if we really want to get technical.
So there are 3 at least. There are 2 teams we kind of mentioned. We don't cover them as much, but all right. So we'll start with south of the border, Alabama. There are 2 state championships going on. We'll start with Russell Christian is hosting.
Well, no. Russell Christian is the designated home team
Yep.
against Cornerstone Christian.
Mhm.
The game is being hosted at Tuscaloosa Christian School. which does have a nice field, nice setup.
Yep.
And of course, Jacksonville Christian in that conference had a great season. Evangel Christian, Montgomery had a great season. Both those teams not eligible for the postseason, so it is Cornerstone and Russell. Earlier this season they played. Cornerstone had a bunch of games get canceled on. They only played 5. They played earlier this season. Russell won 40-10. So it should get slightly ugly, but we'll see. But so that championship, the CFA, Christian Football Association, is happening Friday night.
That's happening Friday night, and maybe Russell Christian will get another conference championship. Who knows? They've had a decent amount of state championships over the years.
CFA is the football branch of the ACAA, the Alabama Christian Athletics Association.
Yep. And for the ACSC championship.
No, ACSC. Okay, you got it right. I was just checking.
I got it right.
Just checking, homeboy. My bad.
I got it right.
My bad. Slap my own hand. There you go.
Ezekiel Academy. They host Lighthouse Homeschool. Now, the interesting portion, so Lighthouse Homeschool beat Ezekiel. Ezekiel beat Evangel. Evangel beat Lighthouse. So there was a 3-way tie. Did they go to a coin toss? No. They win by point differential, and because of that, that is why Evangel, for the first time in, I want to say, like 5 years.
First time since Noah put the animals on the boat.
Probably 5 years, maybe even longer.
Longer than that.
Yeah, they haven't been in a state championship.
Longer than that.
I think Max Preps went as far back to 2011.
You
maybe,
might have been in kindergarten.
2011. I'm talking about.
You were in kindergarten in 2011?
No, that's why I'm asking, because I said Max Preps.
Okay, you would have been in elementary school though.
Max Preps no, I was in 7th grade in 2011. Well, 6th grade, so technically between that. Back to 2011, maybe 2010 is how far back Max Preps goes, and Evangel Christian was in the championship from then on forward every single year. So the first time in a long time where they've missed it. So of course, Evangel's sitting on the outside. I believe they are going to They might be going to Panama City Beach. Evangel Christian School.
Yes, they are going. They have to defend their national title.
Yep, they're defending.
No matter what. And they only lost the one game on the year.
Yep. And that
so,
was
I mean.
Yep. That was pretty impressive.
Oh.
So Ezekiel Academy and Lighthouse Homeschool, they collide for the championship of the ACSC, and Ezekiel Academy is hosting that. And it's looking like it's going to be an interesting game. Unfortunately, Ezekiel Academy's quarterback went out for the game in about the second drive in the Lighthouse Homeschool matchup, so It'll be fairly evenly matched as that final game ended 27-26, so should be a good state championship.
Should be. It'll be interesting to see what happens between both those teams. A lot of history between them. 2 homeschool programs as well that are part of a conference.
Yeah, pretty impressive. And Friday night, the Ezel Harding Christian School Eagles, they got the right to host a playoff game. They will host the Lighthouse Christian School Lions in a playoff game that most people think it's mimicking Lancaster and Bowling Green last year. You know, a team getting into getting that last slot in the playoffs, not by their by their own hand in sorts, because Lighthouse did beat Sacred Heart earlier in the year. But one of those situations where one team that, and of course, there are some people who call for maybe they should restructure the conference divisions. Maybe they should have it so that everyone has a chance they go by ranking overall in conference play, all that kind of stuff, which, of course, that's not the case this year. But it's still looking as if this matchup, Ezel Harding may not have as easy of a game as they're thinking they will be at home against the Lighthouse Christian School Lions. So I'm assuming by the way you said you're not going to predict either the Alabama State championships. So let's.
Yes, I will.
Well, I asked you about both of them. Okay, the Russell Christian game. Russell. Okay, Ezekiel.
I'll take Russell.
All right, and Zachary say Russell. Ezekiel.
That's gonna be a blowout.
Okay, Ezekiel.
I'm taking Lighthouse.
You're taking Lighthouse Homeschool. Okay.
Taking Lighthouse Homeschool.
I'm taking Ezekiel.
Psych! I'm taking Ezekiel. I'm just kidding. Ooh, I had everybody there
Zachary,
for a second.
You staying with Ezekiel?
Yeah, I'm staying with Ezekiel.
Okay, you're both at the same. All right. So Zachary, James said you would go first, but he decided to go first on each of those. So,
Double psych. I'm
Ezel
taking
Hart-
Lighthouse.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
You're serious. You're taking Lighthouse 100%.
I'm wearing my purple shirt.
For the Tennessee School for the Deaf.
That's right. You got to rep the Vikings, bub.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see him back
But I
next
am
year.
picking Lighthouse.
All right. All right.
I'm locking it in.
Lighthouse Homeschool. And, all right, Zachary, Lighthouse Christian School. A lot of people, some people have said they're going to be a dark horse. Some people say it's going to be an easier victory for Ezel Harding.
Some people being
What
1%.
What say
Oh.
you?
I think has been on such a hot run right now, and they're playing really, really good football at this moment. I just don't see Lighthouse beating them right now, so I'm taking Ezel.
All right, James. You now is for the third of your week-by-week predictions. So, are you taking the dark horse or are you taking the home team?
I mean, I could go all Stephen A. Smith hot take, but I'm going to stick with the common sense Ezel Harding. I think Lighthouse will put up a great fight. I think Lighthouse Ezel Harding. I just think they get it done. I think they keep the bell there on campus.
They will have the bell on site for the Battle of the Bell. They did mention that after the game.
Well, thank God.
What?
Producer Jack, do you want to get in on these playoff picks?
Did you ever see a picture of the bell, by the way?
I haven't actually.
Well,
I was
we'll
gonna.
show you. But do you want to get in on the playoff picks?
So, yeah, why not? I mean, if you're saying it, I'm not gonna go too much into like description. I know I've said who my dark horse is, but I'm actually gonna go Ezel Harding. I feel like the fight is there, and I feel like the coaching's there, and I feel like they'll pull out the win at home.
Fair enough. And Saturday night, the Christian Community Colts host the Lancaster Christian Academy Knights for the third year in a row in the playoffs. They host them at May Flanders Field. May Flanders Field has not been kind to Lancaster Christian. Now, of course, could have been a different story this season had Deuce Bragg been in the game because the score was 18-12 in the regular season.
Well, he was in the game the last 2 years, and they didn't do nothing.
But that is true. Last 2 years,
And they had more weapons the last 2 years.
That is true. But it was a closer game this year. And the other side of it as well is that Christian Community graduated a lot of their seniors. That's the other side of it. But I digress. So, Zachary, Christian Community, the runners-up for the state championship last year, and Lancaster Christian, the number 3 seed in the South, who's still looking to prove that they are capable of winning a state championship. Who do you got advancing to Franklin the following week?
Now, this is a really tough one. I think they're both really evenly matched on paper, so I think it's going to be a good one Saturday. Saturday. So, I think CCS's defense will keep them in the game. But I think Deuce gets his first playoff win this weekend. I think Lancaster takes it.
Well, James, you gonna claim, is someone gonna claim CCS bias for you, or are they gonna think you're trying to pull a Stephen A. Smith?
Oh, I don't care. Bring it on. I'll take the CCS bias. Look, Lancaster's 0-3 at May Flanders Field.
0-3 in the they're 0-4 because they played them 2018, 19, 20. I'd been saying 0-4 this entire time, and I thought it was 0-4. I guess 0-3.
Get your head in the game. Well, yeah, because you were
If you
were
make a
thinking
high school musical reference on air ever again, I will make sure your mic is muted permanently.
we're covering high school sports. First off,
I
second
don't
off,
care.
I've never
Zach
used
Efron
my
is a beautiful man.
He,
Listen.
yes. Someone acknowledges it. Let's go.
You were saying 0-4 because you were looking into the future and seeing what's going to happen.
No.
It does not happen
Ooh.
Friday night.
That's
The
biased.
streak continues. It's going to be a streak longer than The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Did Lancaster Christian face Christian Community in 2018 in the regular season?
No.
They did not? Okay. Because if they did, then that's why I'm thinking 0-4, because I think they faced off in the regular
Let me
season.
look, homeboy.
But you're taking CCS. All right.
Taking
while
CCS.
While you're looking that up, Producer Jack.
So we're all in agreement to CCS.
I mean, you just gave your pick.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair enough. I think that CCS knows what to do. I mean, they've done it numerous times. I feel confident. I think history tends to repeat itself, and I feel like Lancaster has shown everything that they can do. So that's all.
Here's my question, Jack.
Yeah.
With the way Ezel Harding handled that Lancaster
Absolutely not.
offensive line, Does Lancaster's offensive line struggle against CCS's defensive line?
Absolutely.
Zach, you concur?
No, I don't think they do. I honestly don't.
Okay.
How many
I
times do I have to
think-
take off my headset today?
Well, if you quit taking it off, homeboy,
just keep it on. Very simple. It's a very
bring your
simple
pair of earbuds in.
I can't do it.
Bring your pair of earbuds in.
So
I don't know. I just think Lancaster will be ready to play because once you see those numbers 0-4, just something about you, something inside of you gets like worked up to where
Shrivels up
you want to prove it wrong. And plus, they lost 18. Lancaster lost 18-12 without Deuce. I mean, that can't be understated. Without Deuce, they were in that game.
So
I
why don't
mean-
so why don't you pick Lancaster?
I picked Lancaster.
Okay. all right.
So hold on. You know, let me just say, like, I understand the fire and everything about that, about wanting to shut up everybody. You know how many times I beat Oakland in my career? JV, varsity, whatever. None. Never.
Cool.
Every single game, I was ready to go. And I was like, "This is the game." No, okay, we lost by 40. Okay.
CCS is not the Oakland.
I'm just saying. I understand
Okay.
they're not the.
They're
Oakland.
more like the Maryville or Alcoa.
Yeah.
So
But that's still a very hard competition right there.
I was wrong. Lancaster did not play in the regular season with Christian Community.
I just
in
looked at it. Yeah,
2018.
I was going to tell you. I looked it up.
So they were 0-3 at May Flanders Field could possibly go 0-4.
We'll be 0-4.
Well, your opinion is, hey, at least Coach Braga said it's funny. I talked to him after the game on Friday, and he was like, "Tell James not to pick me to go undefeated again, and tell James to pick CCS." He said
Well,
both
I'm not doing it because I believe him, but okay.
right.
Okay.
right.
But I digress.
Right. Now, hey, he said he needed bulletin board material, and that's a big thing for them. They got to.
Well, if there's anything I'm full of, it's hot take bulletin board material.
Yeah, I hope so.
So there you go.
So usually, so we're gonna give an actual update later in the week on which games we're going to. We are going to be there Saturday for Christian Community in Lancaster.
But
Right.
we got some things cooking on the stove.
Yeah, we got some things
Sizzle, sizzle.
out of the frying pan into the fire. So Friday we've got
What?
some things that. There's the sizzle. There's the sizzle. There's some more sizzle. No. This is about to break something. Man, that's really sizzling. Man, look at that bacon sizzle. But we got some things working. We got some things that are working out. We'll give an update on which game we'll be officially going to on Friday. But we will be at CCS Lancaster on Saturday.
You'll get that game pick Friday morning.
Yep, game pick Friday. You'll know exactly which game we're going to be at Friday. It's going to be. We have it down
Boys,
to 2 choices.
Welcome to a ridiculously busy November.
Yeah. It's
Ridiculously busy.
Oh yeah, not just because of football, but I mean, you got first 3 weeks of the playoffs, and then you got Thanksgiving in the 4th week.
No, I'm
and
talking
then-
about football.
Yeah, I know you
Strictly
are.
football.
But after that, it goes right into Thanksgiving, and then get right into December, into the holidays and everything.
That's right. Christmas starts after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
But my house, it starts before Thanksgiving because we have to put up the 12-foot Christmas tree, so that all of my family could see it when they have Thanksgiving dinner. They could see the 12-foot Christmas tree.
Why?
It's my mom's choice, not up to me.
I swear Santa's going to strangle so many turkeys it's not even funny.
They can't be strangled, though. Their heads will already be chopped off. They'll already all be served.
This is a PG show, Spence.
It's
Spence! Spence, I can't believe.
it's not butter.
I can't believe you.
We're gonna have to not put this on the kids section of YouTube.
I cannot believe
not
you
me.
forgot about the other game happening Friday night.
Which other game? Which other game?
Come on, think about it.
I already talked about the Russell Championship.
Do you guys know what other games happening Friday night?
Who do you got winning the Independence Bowl?
Let's break it down.
So it's the Freedom Cowboys. This one is in Huntsville, Alabama. The Freedom Cowboys host the Tennessee Heat, who are traveling about 3 hours, something like that.
Oh, we're taking the Tennessee Heat, boys. No question.
Yeah, I mean your take. You
Yeah,
said
Tennessee
we.
Heat.
Who you got?
Tennessee Heat.
All right.
Tennessee.
There you go.
You want to
I
give
think
any
that-
explanation?
No,
I was asking James.
he doesn't need any explanation.
I mean, he doesn't have to, but for the people who want to
Josh
realize-
Butler would have to have a
LeBron James final.
Dalvin
performance.
Cook type night.
to
Did
be
you
a
see how
point.
Dalvin Cook did? today?
Yeah.
No, I told him.
I called my brother and
Yeah,
laughed.
I played him in
Because my
fantasy.
brother was predicted to win, and then Dalvin Cook went off for 48 points.
And
If Josh Butler has a Dalvin Cook type night, then yes, Freedom gets the win. Other
Don't
than
you know
that,
how in
Tennessee-
Madden? Don't you know how in Madden there's some players who put chew clock on the whole game?
That's me.
No,
That's what.
you know what my
That's what's
brother
gonna happen
does?
this week.
You know what my brother does?
Huh.
This dude will start the game. He'll hit pause and go to the menu, go to his depth chart, and swap all players around to what he thinks. So, like, for instance, instead of his one wide receiver lining up against my one corner, he flip-flops it. But he goes through the entire lineup and changes it.
well,
He also doesn't use the playbooks for the teams he picks.
Sounds like a big
He
brain.
goes and picks his own team, his own
that's
playbooks.
smooth.
No, it irks me.
Smooth brain play.
Anyways, it's 5:30. We got to get out
Any
of here.
shout-outs?
Yeah, shout out to the Titans for messing up their perfect record when Derrick Henry rushes for 100 yards.
Shout out to the Titans for losing to a team that had a tie.
Anything you got, Producer Jack?
I'd like to shout out Justin Herbert for throwing 2 interceptions. Also, if you ever think you're doing bad, like in fantasy football and everything like that, and you just are like really down in the dumps, let me just tell you a story about. Well, not really a story. I had a guy in my league that scored 98 points last week, and the other guy who he's playing scored 46.
Well,
He could have beat him 4 times. I think that's pathetic. But I digress.
also shout out to your mama. You're going to take the Waffle House after the broadcast.
And you're right about that. I'm gonna enjoy some. What is your Waffle House order again? It's like
Mine's usually all. Oh yeah, I'll tell you right off the bat. Okay, get a large milk.
Boys, it's 5:30. We got to go.
I know, all-star special, peanut butter chocolate chip waffle, raisin toast,
And a large milk.
scrambled eggs, and bacon. I already said that at the beginning, and you're.
But you didn't say it right.
He's mocking me.
And a large milk with my order.
He's mocking me.
Bro, that large milk order is kind of sus.
Okay, Among Us player, kind of sus. Sheesh.
It do be kind of sus.
All right.
You didn't ask me what my order is.
That'll do it for Extreme Radio, presented by GracePointe Healthcare. Go to GracePointeHealthcare.com. Question equipment online. $20 off. By Jack is doing the sound and the sign off and the flip-flop. For James Sanders, Zach Ramone, Jack Elwood, and Spencer Thompson. We'll announce where we're going Friday, but Saturday we will see you for CCS Lancaster. See ya!
Get my Waffle House order next week.